Have you ever had that moment? You're scrolling through social media, maybe feeling pretty good about your day.
Hmm.
Maybe a project's going well or you're hitting a fitness goal.
Right. Things are looking up.
Exactly. And then, bam! Someone else's highlight reel pops up. An old friend buying a house or, traveling somewhere amazing.
Yeah. Living the apparent dream.
And suddenly, your perfectly good day feels, well, a bit less good. Maybe you even get that sinking feeling like you're a total failure.
Absolutely. That gut punch is real.
It's not just fleeting either, is it? It feels like a really deep-seated thing, this tendency to compare.
It really is.
Okay, let's unpack this. It feels like we're constantly measuring ourselves against others, doesn't it?
Constantly. It's almost automatic.
But what if we're using the wrong measuring stick? What if the real magic, the real path to feeling okay, feeling strong, is actually about how we treat ourselves?
Hmm.
So today we're doing a deep dive into all of this self-perception, social comparison, and this really powerful idea of self-compassion.
Yeah.
You shared some fascinating sources on how we relate to ourselves, to others, the kind of surprising double-edged sword of envy.
Right. The two faces of envy.
And practical ways to build up that inner strength, that self-esteem. So our mission is to unpack these ideas, pull out the core wisdom, and hopefully give you some really actionable insights, ways to navigate that inner world with a bit more kindness and resilience, maybe even joy.
And what's so fascinating here is just how interconnected it all is. Our self-judgment, how we react when we think others are succeeding,
Yeah.
and just our fundamental sense of being okay, our worth. These sources, they really offer a kind of roadmap, not just for understanding what's happening inside, but why it matters so much for your day-to-day well-being.
Okay, so let's kick off with something, kind of a thought experiment for you listening.
Right.
Imagine a really close friend comes to you.
Okay.
They're feeling totally overwhelmed. Maybe they've messed up or they're just really struggling. How would you respond to them? How would you talk to them?
Well, you'd probably be supportive, right? Understanding, kind. You wouldn't kick them when they're down.
Exactly. You'd offer comfort, maybe a hug, kind words. But here's the kicker, the uncomfortable bit.
Mm-hmm.
How do you typically respond to yourself in those same situations when you're the one struggling?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's often very different. Harsh self-criticism, judgment, a tone you just never use with a friend.
It's such a stark difference, isn't it? And that gap is really where we need to start.
Absolutely. That disconnect is key.
It's incredible, really, how much meaner we can be to ourselves. But the good news, apparently, is there's a tool, a practical way to start bridging that gap. It's called the self-compassion break.
Yes, a very useful tool for those tough moments.
And it has 3 core parts, which sound simple but seem really effective.
They are deceptively simple. The first is mindfulness.
Okay, mindfulness. What does that mean here?
It just means acknowledging the suffering, the difficulty, without judgment. Really feeling it.
So not pushing it away.
Not pushing it away, not exaggerating it. Just being present with the discomfort.
Yeah.
You might literally say to yourself, ouch, or this hurts, or wow, this is stress. Just naming it.
Okay, naming it. Got it. So once you've acknowledged the feeling, what's next? Do you just sit with the hurt?
Well, that leads to the second component. Common humanity.
Some in humanity. Right.
This is the powerful bit, I think.
Yep.
It's realizing that whatever you're going through, failure, inadequacy, stress, you are absolutely not alone.
So it's not just me screwing up.
Exactly. It's part of the shared human experience. Other people feel this way. Suffering and imperfection connect us. They don't isolate us. It's a reminder that, okay, this is hard, and it's hard for lots of people.
That feels comforting, actually, less isolating.
Right.
And the third part?
The third part is self-kindness. This is where you actively offer yourself warmth and comfort, just like you would to that struggling friend.
So consciously being nice to yourself?
Consciously, actively nice. And the sources mention something really practical here, using soothing touch, like putting your hands over your heart, or gently stroking your arm.
Does that actually do anything? Physically?
Surprisingly, yes. That physical touch can trigger the release of oxytocin.
The bonding hormone.
Exactly. It can literally change your biochemistry, promoting calm and connection. And you can combine it with kind words. Ask yourself, what do I need to hear right now?
Right.
Maybe phrases like, may I be kind to myself, or may I give myself the compassion I need. It's about actively comforting yourself.
The sources also dive into some really concrete exercises to practice this, right? To make it more of a habit.
Yes, several good ones. One is compassionate journaling.
Okay.
You write about something you feel inadequate about, or an event that caused shame. Then, and this is the key part, you write a letter to yourself, but from the perspective of an imaginary friend.
An imaginary friend?
Yeah, but one who is unconditionally loving, accepting, kind, compassionate. This friend sees everything's strengths, weaknesses, your history, and offers total understanding and forgiveness.
Wow.
The goal is to really try and feel that love and acceptance pouring into you as you read it back. It's like reparenting yourself with kindness.
That sounds intense but powerful.
Yeah.
What else?
There's also the three-chair dialogue. This comes from Gestalt therapy.
3 chairs. Okay.
You set out 3 chairs. One is your inner critic. One is the part of you that feels criticized. And the third is a wise, compassionate observer.
And you talk to the chairs.
You embody each part. You sit in the critic chair and speak as the critic. Then you move to the criticized chair and respond. Then you sit in the observer chair and offer compassionate perspective.
Huh. What does that achieve?
It helps you understand the critic's motives often. It's fear, right? Trying to protect you.
Don't mess up kind of thing.
Exactly. And it helps you offer comfort to the part that's always being judged, acknowledging how hard that is. The aim is to kind of call a truce in that inner war.
A truce in the inner war. I like that. It connects to the next idea, too. Changing critical self-talk.
Yes. The first step there is just noticing it, hearing the harsh words, the tone. Does it sound like someone you know?
Ooh. Yeah. Sometimes it does.
Right. Then you work on softening that voice, not fighting it, but softening it with compassion.
How do you do that?
You might acknowledge its intention, like, I know you're worried about me trying to help, but you're causing me pain. And then you reframe.
Reframe.
Yeah, reframe the observation in a friendly, positive way, like that friend would. Instead of, ugh, you ate all those cookies, you're disgusting.
Which is easy to do.
Very easy. It becomes something like, darling, I know you ate those cookies because you felt sad, but now you feel worse. Let's maybe take a walk, feel a bit better. It's moving from punishment to nurturing support.
And this challenges that old idea that you need harsh criticism to motivate yourself, doesn't it?
Absolutely. The sources really push back on that. They ask, what would a wise and nurturing mentor or friend say to encourage you to change?
Probably not. You're useless.
Probably not.
Yeah.
It's this idea that love and encouragement are actually much more powerful motivators than fear and self-flagellation in the long run. Fear can paralyze. Kindness creates space for growth.
That makes a lot of sense. And finally, there was a point about taking care of the caregiver.
Yes. Crucial for anyone in a helping role, professionally or personally.
And it distinguished between off-the-job self-care, like yoga or music,
Right. The things you do away from the caring role.
and on-the-job self-care. What does that look like?
That's about using self-compassion in the moment when you're feeling stressed or overwhelmed while caregiving.
Ah, okay.
It's offering yourself soothing words right then and there. This is really hard right now. It's okay to feel stressed. I'm here for you. It helps you keep your heart open and avoid burnout by nurturing yourself as you nurture others.
Self-compassion in action, in the moment. Okay. So, we've talked a lot about turning kindness inward, being our own friend. But here's where it gets really interesting, I think. What happens when our focus goes outward to other people and we get stuck in that comparison trap?
Yes, the comparison trap. And that's often where envy comes into play.
Great, envy.
Fundamentally, envy is that two-person thing.
Right.
Wanting something someone else has. But the sources make a key distinction. It's not just one thing. There are 2 types.
2 types of envy. Okay.
Benign envy and malicious envy.
Benign.
Like harmless.
Sort of. Benign envy comes from a place of personal security, confidence. It can actually be beneficial.
How so?
It can motivate self-improvement. You see someone else's success, and instead of feeling bitter, you feel inspired. You think, wow, how did they do that? Maybe I could learn from that, or that motivates me to try harder.
So it spurs you on, almost.
Exactly. It acknowledges your own potential. But malicious envy, that's the destructive kind. It's driven by insecurity, anger, resentment, feeling like it's unfair. And it can lead to wanting to pull the other person down, damage their status.
Ouch. That sounds toxic. It really is. It strains relationships, causes conflict, and seriously damages your own mental health. More anger, stress, resentment, lower confidence, it eats away at you.
So why do we even compare in the first place? Is it just because of social media?
Social media definitely amplifies it, but the root is deeper. It's how our brains work. We make sense of the world in relative terms, not absolute terms.
Meaning?
We need a reference point. You only know something's big if you've seen something small.
Yeah.
You need contrast.
Okay, that makes sense.
And this leads to something called the focusing illusion.
The focusing illusion,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
It means we tend to zoom in on just a subset of information like those perfect Instagram shots.
Yeah.
And we give that subset way more importance than it deserves. We ignore all the other data points, the messy bits, the struggles.
So our perception gets totally skewed.
Totally skewed. We construct this fantasy version of someone else's life based on incomplete, often deliberately curated information.
Which highlights the big flaws in comparing, doesn't it? It's usually totally unfair.
Deeply unfair. We cherry pick the good parts of other people's lives and remove the rest.
The source had a great analogy, like buying a house just because the living room looks nice.
Exactly. Without checking if the roof is rotten or the plumbing works, it would be insane. But we do it with people's lives constantly.
And the crucial thing is, you don't know what you don't know.
Precisely. The example of Avicii is just heartbreaking, but so illustrative.
Yeah.
Looked like he had everything from the outside fame, money, travel, adoration, everything someone might envy,
The dream life.
the perceived dream life.
Right.
But internally, he was struggling immensely, more than perhaps the person envying him could even imagine. It just shows there are so many hidden variables.
Things we just can't see when we compare superficially.
Exactly.
And like you said, social media has put this on steroids, this comparisonitis.
Comparisonitis, yeah. The sheer volume of comparisons we're exposed to now has exploded. Things we never would have known about each other 20 years ago are now right there, all the time.
It's no wonder we're still figuring out how to handle it healthily.
Not at all. It's a relatively new challenge on this scale.
So, okay, what does this all mean for us? If comparing is so natural but often so damaging, how do we start to shift? How do we actually break free?
Right. That's the critical question, isn't it? How do we take these insights and turn them into real, practical steps? Because just knowing about it isn't really enough.
Absolutely. Application is key. So let's talk strategies. Breaking that comparison cycle, where do we start?
The first step, according to the sources, is simply awareness, just noticing, becoming conscious of when you're doing it,
Catching yourself in the act.
catching yourself.
Yeah.
Once you're aware, the next step is to gently stop yourself.
Just stop.
Give yourself a pause. Acknowledge the thought, there I go, comparing again, without beating yourself up for it. And then gently change focus.
Change focus to what?
A really powerful redirect is to count your blessings. Literally shift your attention to what you do have. The people, the small joys, the opportunities, whatever blessings life is giving you.
It's that idea of watering your own grass.
Exactly. Focus on your own garden instead of peering over the fence all the time.
I love that. And it links to focusing on your own strengths too, right?
Yes. Celebrate what you can do, what you do value in yourself, and critically, be okay with imperfection.
Easier said than done sometimes.
Oh, for sure. But reminding yourself that no one is perfect, that imperfection is actually part of what makes you you, that can be incredibly freeing. It's radical self-acceptance.
And another point was about not tearing others down.
Right. Don't knock others down. That destructive criticism, even if it feels momentarily satisfying, ultimately fuels negativity within you. It hurts you too.
So try to support others instead.
Try to support others. And remember, life is not a competition. It's a journey. Your path is your path. It has nothing to do with how fast someone else seems to be going.
And that really profound one, learn to love enough.
That's a big one in our culture of more. If you're always wanting what others have, you'll never feel like you have enough. It's a trap.
So it's about finding contentment.
Finding contentment. The source put it beautifully. If you have shelter, food, clothes, and people who love you, you are blessed. You have enough. It's a call back to gratitude.
Okay, so beyond just stopping the negative comparison, can we actually transform envy? Turn it into something useful?
Yes, the sources suggest you can. First, understand what you want. Use that pang of envy as a clue.
That clue.
Yeah, a guide. Ask, what is this envy really telling me about my own desires or unmet needs? Can offer helpful insights.
So listen to the envy. Don't just swat it away.
Listen to it. Then reframe your focus. Actively turn that negative, resentful energy into positive energy that inspires action. Use what you learned from the envy constructively.
Okay, use it as fuel.
Use it as fuel.
Yeah.
And crucially, practice gratitude. Not just for what you have, but maybe even feeling a little thankful towards the person you envy.
Thankful for making me feel envious.
Thankful for the gift they're providing, the inspiration, the clarification of your own goals. It shifts the dynamic. The ultimate aim is to cultivate happiness in a way that you can genuinely find joy in others' happiness.
That sounds like enlightenment.
Well, it's definitely an advanced practice, but a worthy goal. And throughout all this transformation, remember self-compassion. Don't feel guilty for feeling envy. It's human. Just be kind to yourself as you work through it.
This really underscores the idea of community over competition.
Hugely important.
The sources mention that actually meeting people, like in real life, can crush your comparisonitis. Why is that?
Because it shatters the illusion. It wakes you up from that confirmation bias where you only see the curated perfection online.
Right, you see the real person.
You see the real person, their flaws, their struggles, their full humanity. Even meeting competitors can build solidarity, not rivalry. It's much easier to be happy for someone you actually know and connect with.
It makes them less of an abstract symbol of success and more of a person.
Exactly. It brings objectivity, reassurance. It quiets that nagging doubt that fuels comparisonitis. Connection breaks down the comparison walls.
Which leads perfectly to the final strategy. The only fair comparison is you versus you.
Absolutely. That's the gold standard, comparing yourself today to the old you.
How does that help?
It allows you to genuinely see and appreciate your own progress. Look how far I've come. Look what I've learned. Look how I've grown. It fosters real gratitude for your personal journey, and it's a comparison you can actually win, so to speak.
It's focused on growth, not just status.
Precisely.
Okay, so all of this, the self-criticism, the comparison, the envy, it all ties back to our fundamental sense of self-worth, our self-esteem.
It really does. Negative comparison and self-judgment often spring from this deep, sometimes unconscious core belief that we're fundamentally deficient or not good enough.
That's a heavy burden to carry.
It is. And it has real consequences. Frequent shame, hopelessness, feeling worthless. It can ramp up social anxiety, make you avoid taking chances.
Because you're afraid to fail.
Exactly. Preferring not to play the game at all than to risk losing. Which ultimately can mean missing out on life, holding yourself back enormously.
What are some common signs that maybe low self-esteem is driving some of this?
The sources listed quite a few. Things like constantly needing validation from others, feeling inferior, always putting others first because you're afraid to say no.
Yeah.
Beating yourself up endlessly for small mistakes, overthinking everything people say, thinking deep down you're worthless, settling for less than you deserve, even finding it hard to accept a simple compliment.
Wow, that list will probably resonate with a lot of people. It sounds like a tough pattern to break.
It can be.
Yeah.
But the good news is there are proven tools, especially from cognitive behavioral therapy or CBT, designed specifically to help reshape these negative patterns.
Okay, like a toolkit for the mind.
Exactly. Think of it like retraining your brain. One tool is curiosity training.
Curiosity training.
It's basically mindfulness, getting out of your head, out of the rumination, and into the present moment, just observing thoughts without judgment.
Huh. Okay. And behavioral experiments. That sounds interesting.
That's where you actively test your negative beliefs. If you believe everyone will judge me if I speak up, you design a small experiment to speak up in a low-stakes situation and see what actually happens. You gather real-world evidence.
Challenging the assumptions directly. I like that.
Yeah. Then there's being a good parent to yourself.
Like we talked about with self-compassion.
Similar. Affirming your efforts. Focusing on learning instead of just criticism when things go wrong. And keeping a pride and gratitude log.
Focusing on the positive.
Actively training your brain to notice and appreciate the good things, your own qualities, the positive experiences. It shifts your default focus.
And it's not just about you, but how you see others too.
Right. Gathering overlooked evidence. Actively reminding yourself that everyone, even people you admire, has a mix of good and bad qualities, struggles, and successes. Countering that idealization.
Breaking down the pedestals.
Exactly. And finally, cognitive restructuring, which is the core CBT skill of identifying those distorted negative thoughts and actively working to modify them to more realistic, balanced ones. It takes practice, but these are powerful ways to change that internal dialogue.
They sound like really practical ways to start rewiring things.
They are, and if we just kind of connect all these threads, zoom out to the bigger picture,
Yeah.
what really emerges is this powerful truth. Our internal world, our sense of worth, it's profoundly shaped by how we choose to relate to ourselves and to the world around us. It's about cultivating that inner landscape.
So whether it's finally learning to treat yourself like you'd treat that best friend, or learning to tell the difference between envy that inspires you and envy that tears you down,
Right.
or even just consciously shifting your focus from someone else's curated highlights to your own unique, messy, wonderful journey,
Yes.
the path to a richer, more resilient, more peaceful life, it really does start within. It's about tending your own garden, isn't it?
Beautifully put. It
Yeah.
really is.
So maybe a final thought for you to mull over. If comparison truly is the thief of joy, as they say, and if genuine self-compassion is something you actually deserve, it's your birthright. What would it really feel like to water your own grass, tend your own garden so abundantly, so consistently that you genuinely wouldn't need to look over the fence for happiness anywhere else?